Welcome back to AI Unraveled, your daily strategic briefing on the business impact of artificial intelligence. It is Friday, January 30th, 2026. Mark Zuckerberg isn't blinking. Meta has announced it will spend up to $135 billion this year on AI infrastructure. That is not just a budget. It is a war chest designed to crush competitors in agentic shopping and entertainment. But the Musk ecosystem is tightening its own ranks. Tesla has officially invested $2 billion into xAI, blurring the lines between the car company and the AI lab. And xAI is already delivering with a new video model that undercuts OpenAI's pricing by nearly 85%. Also today, Google turns Chrome into an autonomous agent, Amazon faces a disturbing data scandal involving child safety, and we explore why the next era of AI isn't about text. It's about physics. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Now let's unravel the news.
Before we dive into today's deep dive, a quick note for the brands listening. If you are trying to reach the architects of the AI revolution, not just the tourists, but the technical leaders actually building the stack, we are opening up limited partnership spots for Q1. See how we can simulate your product for the technical buyer at jamgamind.com/AI Unraveled.
Happy Friday. It is January 30th, 2026.
It is.
And if you're listening to this, you're probably trying to figure out where all the capital is flowing, where the code is actually breaking, and why everyone suddenly seems to be screaming about physics all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Welcome to the deep dive.
It is a massive day. I mean, we have the giants writing checks that, frankly, almost defy logic at this point.
They really do.
We have a complete paradigm shift in how AI understands reality, which sounds hyperbolic, but it's not. And we also have some very serious, very necessary conversations that we need to have about safety.
We do, and we are going to get into all of it. We're calling this the AI Unraveled edition because, honestly, the threads are starting to pull apart in some really, really interesting ways.
How so?
Well, for one, we've got Mark Zuckerberg dropping a GDP-level amount of cash, and I mean that literally, the GDP of a small country, on compute.
Right.
Then you have the whole physical AI revolution, which is why text is suddenly looking, so 2024.
Exactly. The entire race has shifted. It's moved from who can write the best poem to who can simulate the best version of reality.
That's a great way to put it.
It's about robots, it's about these things called world models, and it's about the browser, specifically Chrome, trying to become your entire operating system.
And we absolutely cannot ignore the dark side of this. We have a report on Amazon's data supply chain that is, well, disturbing is putting it mildly.
Very mildly.
And on the flip side, YouTube is finally declaring war on what they're calling brain rot.
So that's the mission today. We are not just going to read you the headlines. We need to help you understand where the leverage is. Is all the spending even sustainable? Is this physical AI thing real, or is it just the next hype cycle?
And what happens when your browser starts doing your job for you? That's a big one.
Huge one.
Let's unpack this. We have to start with the money. I mean, we just have to. Because frankly, the numbers that we're looking at today are starting to lose all meaning. We talk about billions like they're pocket change.
It's just noise after a certain point.
It is. Yeah. But we have to stop and really look at what Mark Zuckerberg and Meta announced for 2026.
It is a staggering number. The headline guidance for capital expenditures, that's CapEx for anyone listening, is between $115 and $135 billion.
$135 billion.
For a single fiscal year.
Okay, let's just pause and try to contextualize that. $135 billion. That is roughly the GDP of Kuwait.
Wow.
It is more than the entire GDP of Kenya. This is one company spending that much money on it.
Yeah.
What is it, just chips and concrete?
It's mostly that, yes. It's data centers, which are enormous. It's the energy infrastructure to power them, which is a whole other conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a mountain, an absolute mountain of NVIDIA GPUs.
But the number itself is only half the story, right? It's the growth that's shocking.
That's the real story. To understand the scale, you have to look at the delta. In 2025, just last year, everyone thought Meta was burning cash when they spent $72 billion.
And that was considered an insane amount of money then.
It was. People were panicking. And now they have effectively doubled down, literally doubled it in just 12 months.
This is what I don't get. Wall Street usually hates this. I mean, you spend that much money, your margins completely evaporate, your free cash flow goes negative. Why isn't the stock tanking? What is the story Zuckerberg is selling that justifies burning the GDP of a small nation?
He's selling a pivot, a fundamental tectonic shift in how the internet makes money. For the last 20 years, Meta and Google, for that matter, have been attention economy companies.
Right. Their job is to get my eyeballs.
They aggregate your eyeballs, they show you an ad for something, and they get paid a few cents if you happen to click on it. It's a passive model.
So I scroll through my feed, I see a sneaker ad, maybe I buy it, maybe I don't. Meta just sells the billboard space on my screen.
Precisely. But Zuckerberg is betting that the attention economy is capping out. There are only so many ads you can see in a day. He is pivoting the entire company to what he calls agentic commerce, the action economy.
Okay, agentic.
Yeah.
We keep hearing this word. Let's break it down. For a normal user, what is the actual difference in experience?
Okay, let's stick with the sneaker example. In the old world, you want those shoes. You go to Google, you search, you click 5 different links, you open a bunch of tabs, you read review on another site, you go look for a coupon code, then you go back, you enter your credit card, your shipping info. It's a whole process.
It's work. It's 20 minutes of work.
It is. In an agentic world, you just say to your Meta AI, I need a new pair of running shoes for flat feet. My budget is under $150. Find me the highest rated ones in my size and send them to my house.
And the AI literally does the shopping for you.
It does the research, the comparison, the negotiation with vendors, and the final execution of the purchase. And here's the economic kicker. If Meta controls the transaction, they aren't just getting paid for the ad impression anymore. They are potentially taking a cut of the commerce itself.
So they go from being a billboard to being the entire mall.
Or the personal shopper. The value of an agent that can do things for you is infinitely higher than an agent that just talks to you. A chatbot is a novelty. A do-bot is a utility.
But that requires a level of trust and a level of personal data access that I'm not sure people are actually ready to give, to just hand over your credit card to an AI and say, go for it.
And that is exactly why they're spending the $135 billion. They are making a colossal bet that they are the only ones who have the data moat to pull this off successfully.
What do you mean by that?
Think about it. ChatGPT doesn't know who your friends are. It has no idea what brands you liked on Instagram 3 years ago or what baby shower you're planning on Facebook.
Right, it doesn't have my history.
Meta has the social graph. They know your entire life for the last 15 years. They are trying to merge that social graph with a reasoning graph.
So they're brute forcing intelligence with all this new compute just so they can leverage the proprietary data they already have.
Precisely. They are building these meta superintelligence labs, not just to make a better chatbot, but to build a digital employee that knows everything about you and can act on your behalf. But, and here is the massive risk, they are buying millions of H100 and now H200 chips to do it.
And chips depreciate.
Yeah. Faster than almost any other physical asset.
Right.
A GPU you buy today is basically an antique in 3 years. So Zuckerberg is buying $135 billion of assets that will be worth a fraction of that by 2029.
So if this agentic bet doesn't pay off.
If people decide they actually like scrolling and shopping for themselves, or if they just don't trust Meta's AI with their money, this is going to be the single biggest capital incineration in corporate history. It'll make the metaverse look like a rounding error.
It's a completely binary bet then. Either he owns the entire future of internet commerce, or he owns the world's most expensive pile of obsolete silicon.
There's very little middle ground.
Wow. But Meta isn't the only one spending massive amounts to lock in a future ecosystem. We have to talk about Elon Musk.
Right. The Musk ecosystem merge. It's a different scale, but maybe even more significant strategically.
For a long time, Tesla and xAI, his AI startup, have felt like separate entities, at least on paper. You know, different companies, different cap tables. But today, the lines got very, very blurry.
They did. Tesla has now officially confirmed a $2 billion investment directly into xAI.
And this is Series E preferred stock. So it's a serious late-stage investment. And while, you know, $2 billion sounds almost small compared to Meta's $135 billion, the strategic implication here is massive.
It's huge.
But is this just Musk moving money from his left pocket to his right pocket? I mean, he controls both companies. Is this just financial engineering?
I think skepticism is fair there, but if you look at the filing, they signed a framework agreement alongside the investment. It's clearly about supply chain integration.
So what does that mean in practice?
Think of it this way. Tesla has the body, They have the Optimus robots, which are getting scarily good at a very fast pace. And they have the cars, which are essentially robots on wheels with a massive amount of real-world sensor data coming in every second.
Okay, so Tesla provides the hardware, the physical embodiment.
Exactly. But a body is useless without a brain. xAI has the brain. They have the massive training clusters, like the Colossus cluster they're building in Memphis. And they have the foundational reasoning models, like Grok.
So by investing this cash, Tesla is basically securing its access to that brain. It's an internal customer-supplier relationship.
They're guaranteeing it. Tesla doesn't have to go out and build the foundational model from scratch, which is incredibly expensive, as we just discussed with Meta. They can just plug xAI's brain into the Optimus body.
Which solidifies that link between digital intelligence and physical application.
Correct. And honestly, that transition, the move from digital chat to physical action, is the perfect bridge to our next big topic. Because physical AI isn't just a Tesla thing anymore. It is the buzzword of 2026.
Let's get into it. Segment 2, the new frontier. If 2024 and 2025 were all about large language models, LLMs, then 2026 is officially about world models.
Right. And we need to be very, very clear about what that term actually means, because it's getting thrown around a lot in marketing materials and press releases.
Yeah, I feel like every single press release I saw this morning had world model in the title. Is this just rebranding what we already have, or is the technology fundamentally different?
It is fundamentally different, and it all goes back to the core limitations of text-based AI. An LLM, like the ones we've all been using for the last few years, is essentially a statistical parrot.
A very, very smart parrot.
An incredibly smart parrot, yes.
Yeah.
It reads the entire internet, and it learns that the word drop is usually followed by the word break. It knows the statistical correlation.
So it knows the syntax of gravity.
Exactly. It knows the concept of gravity because it read a million physics textbooks, but it doesn't understand gravity. It has no intuitive, predictive model of the physical world.
And how does that manifest in a practical sense?
Well, if you ask an LLM to guide a robot through a messy room, it might hallucinate that the robot can just walk straight through a coffee table.
Yeah.
Because in text, anything is possible. It doesn't understand that solid objects occupy space and can't pass through each other.
It has no grounding in reality.
Correct. A world model is a neural network that actually learns the dynamics of the real world. It isn't trained primarily on text, it's trained on video.
So the old saying, data is the new oil, is becoming. Video is the new oil.
That is the big shift. To teach a machine physics, you don't give it a book. You show it millions of hours of video of things falling, cars crashing, people walking, balls bouncing. The model's job is to learn to predict the next frame of video, not the next word of text.
So it's effectively a simulator.
It is a physics engine that is learned entirely from observation, not programmed with explicit rules. It learns object permanence, that if a ball rolls behind a couch, it's still there, even if you can't see it. It learns inertia. It learns that liquids splash and fire is hot.
And this is why companies that have massive proprietary video data sets like YouTube, Meta from Instagram Reels, and especially Tesla from its cars, are suddenly in such a powerful position.
They have the training data. If you are a startup right now, with just a huge text data set, you are essentially dead in the water for this next phase of AI. The entire goal has shifted to what some are calling spatial intelligence.
And spatial intelligence means what?
It means allowing a machine to predict a physical outcome before it acts.
Which is critical for robotics. You can't have a robot in a factory just trial and error its way through a task. It'll break billions of dollars worth of equipment.
Exactly. You need to simulate the outcome in your mind first. And we are seeing this hit the consumer market today in a really wild way. Google DeepMind just dropped Project Genie.
I saw the demo for this. It honestly looks like a video game from the future.
It looks like a game, but it's a tech demo for a reality simulator. It's a public web app now, and it's expensive. It's $250 a month for the Ultra tier, but let's walk through what it actually does.
Okay, so I log in, and I type in a prompt. Something like Cyberpunk City in the rain at night.
You prompt a setting and a character. Yes, it uses their Gemini and Nano Banana Pro models to generate the initial assets. But then, and this is the magic part, you can actually play it.
What do you mean, play it?
You can navigate that world in first or third person. You can walk forward, look around, interact with things. The AI is generating the world around you in real time, frame by frame, based on your inputs and its understanding of physics.
So it's not a pre-rendered video. It is hallucinating a consistent, explorable reality at 60 frames per second.
Yes. And that is an unbelievably hard computational problem. It requires a massive amount of compute. The report says sessions are currently capped at just 60 seconds.
A minute. Why?
Because each user basically gets a dedicated chip or a cluster of chips while they're exploring. It's just too expensive to run for longer than that right now.
So I get to spend 60 seconds inside the matrix, and then Google pulls the plug because my server bill is too high.
For now, yes. But you have to think about the application here. Google isn't trying to become Nintendo. They are building a general-purpose simulator. If you can generate a consistent interactive world from a text prompt, you can train a robot in that world 1,000,000 times before you ever build the physical robot.
It's the ultimate training ground. You can simulate any scenario.
It is. And while Google is building the high-end simulator, Elon's xAI is trying to commoditize the video generation part of it. We have news on their Grok Imagine API.
This one really caught my eye because of the price. So xAI released a new video generation and editing suite, and it debuted at #1 on the artificial analysis leaderboards, which is impressive on its own.
The quality is top tier.
But the real headline isn't just the quality, it's the cost.
$4.20 per minute.
I'm assuming the 420 is one of his jokes.
With Musk, you can almost guarantee it's a joke. But the economics are deadly serious. Let's compare that. Google's Veo 3.1 is $12 a minute. OpenAI's Sora 2 Pro is reportedly going to be around $30 a minute.
So he is undercutting the entire market by massive margins, 3 to 7 times cheaper.
He is trying to capture the developer share. Pure and simple. He wants every app developer who needs a video feature to use his API by default. Low price plus high quality equals commoditization. He is trying to do to AI video what OpenAI did to text with GPT 3.5.
And the feature set is pretty advanced too, right? It's not just generation. It has editing tools where you can swap objects in and out.
Yes. The demos show things like change the apple on the table to a grenade, or make the entire scene have a cyberpunk style. It's fully editable and controllable post-generation. This is a direct shot at companies like Adobe. If they don't keep up, they're in trouble.
So we've got the giants, Google, Tesla, Meta, spending billions and billions on these massive scale-out models. But there's a counter-narrative forming, which I find fascinating. We need to talk about the contrarian bets.
Yes.
Because not everyone agrees that bigger is better is the only path forward.
This is my favorite part of the news today. The industry is starting to fracture philosophically. For a few years, it was a monoculture.
Right. Everyone was just building bigger transformers.
Exactly. You had the scale is all you need camp. That's Sam Altman. That's Zuckerberg. And now you have the we need a new paradigm camp gaining serious traction and serious money.
And we saw 2 big funding rounds today for that second camp. First, a company with probably the best name in tech right now, Flapping Airplanes.
Laughs. It is a great name. And it's not just a joke, it's their entire thesis.
There is $180 million at a $1.5 billion valuation, which is a lot for a startup without a major product yet. So what's the metaphor?
Their argument is that current AI is like early aviation, where engineers tried to make planes that literally flapped their wings like birds. It was biomimicry, but it was the wrong approach. It was inefficient and didn't scale.
And the breakthrough came when we invented the airfoil and the propeller, a completely different principle of flight.
Exactly. And they think that transformers, the T in GPT, the tech behind all these big models, are the flapping wings of AI.
So they think they're a dead end. Inefficient.
They believe so. They are betting on a completely new architecture that can achieve human-level intelligence without having to ingest the entire internet and burn a country's worth of power. They call themselves the Young Person's AGI Lab.
Which is a very polite way of saying the current leaders, like OpenAI and Google, are dinosaurs using outdated tech.
It's a direct challenge. And it's not just kids in a garage. Their advisors include people like Andrej Karpathy, formerly of OpenAI, and Tesla, and Jeff Dean from Google. These are heavy hitters.
And then you have the second contrarian bet, Core Automation, founded by Jerry Twerk, who is another ex-OpenAI researcher. He's seeking $1 billion.
$1 billion, right out of the gate for his seed round.
That was his pitch.
His focus is on continuous learning. He's building a model he calls Series. The problem with current AI models is that once you finish the massive training run, the model is essentially frozen in time. It doesn't learn from new experiences unless you do another huge, expensive training run.
It's like a graduate who stops reading books the day they leave college. Their knowledge becomes static and outdated.
That's a perfect analogy. Twerk wants to build a model that learns in real time from its interactions with the real world. It continuously updates itself. And his goal is, well, modest. He says it's From factory automation to terraforming planets.
Of course, always terraforming planets.
Always. But the analyst take here is really important. Investors are getting nervous. They see the $200 billion price tags of the frontier labs. They see Meta spending $135 billion a year, and they are terrified.
Because that's not a game they can play.
Right. So they are hedging their bets. They're thinking, what if there is a smarter, smaller, more efficient way to get to AGI? They're looking for the physics breakthrough, the new airfoil, not just a bigger flapping wing.
Before we leave this visual physical world, let's quickly touch on Hollywood. Because while the tech guys are fighting over architectures and chips, the creatives are actually starting to use this stuff in major projects.
Right. This isn't just theory anymore. Darren Aronofsky, the director, just released a new project called On This Day, 1776.
And it was made with generative AI. He's using Google's video tools, but there's a really important twist here.
There is. He's explicitly using SAG-AFTRA voice actors for all the characters. He's framing the entire project as artist-led AI.
Which is hugely significant. It signals a potential truce in the war between Hollywood and Silicon Valley.
It is. The unions and creators are realizing they probably can't stop the technology, so they are trying to find ways to integrate it into the workflow where the artist is still in control and still getting paid. We are moving from AI being a hidden trick used in post-production to it being the core of full visual production pipelines.
Okay, so that's the visual world. Now let's talk about the tool that almost all of us use to access this stuff every single day. The browser. Segment 3. The browser agent.
This is where the rubber really meets the road for most users. This is about Google Chrome.
And Chrome is getting a massive upgrade. And from the sounds of it, it's trying to be a lot more than just a window to the web.
It's trying to become the operating system for your life. The new flagship feature is called Auto Browse.
Describe that for me. What does it do?
In the new version of Chrome, the browser can now control its own tab. You give it a task, and it will navigate websites, click buttons, fill out forms, complete tasks, and then pause to ask you for payment information. It's an agent that lives directly inside your browser.
So I could theoretically say, go to Amazon, find those sneakers we were talking about, add them to my cart, and then go to united.com and book a flight to New York for next Tuesday. And it will just navigate the websites itself.
That's the vision. It opens the tabs and does the work. And to support this, they've added a Gemini sidebar that is persistent across all your tabs. So you can be on 3 different shoe websites and ask Gemini to compare them for you right there in the sidebar.
Plus, they have the Nano Banana image generation integrated so you can create images directly in the browser without going to another site.
Correct.
This feels like a very, very powerful defensive move against all these new AI-native browsers that have been popping up.
It is a strategic checkmate, or at least an attempt at one. You have all these startups, OpenAI's Atlas, Perplexity's Comet, Dia, all of them are building these AI browsers from scratch and trying to get you to switch.
But it's a huge ask to get someone to change their default browser.
It is. And Google is basically saying, no, you don't need to switch apps. You don't need to learn a new tool. We just upgraded the tool you already use and have been using for a decade.
It's the path of least resistance. If Chrome just does it natively, why would I download a whole new piece of software?
Exactly. And Google owns the platform. That is a massive, almost insurmountable advantage. But it also raises the stakes significantly. If the browser is now doing the clicking for you, does the browser now control the user's attention in a way it never has before?
And does the browser control the data from all those interactions?
Always. And speaking of data and control, we need to shift gears. We've talked about the shiny new toys, the incredible potential. Now we have to talk about the mess. Segment 4, safety and ethics. And this is a heavy one today.
It is. We have to talk about Amazon. And I want to warn listeners, the details here are grim, but they are absolutely necessary to understand the current state of the industry's supply chain problems.
A report has surfaced, and it's been confirmed, showing that Amazon found a high volume of CSAM, that's child sexual abuse material, inside their AI training data back in 2025.
Now, finding terrible stuff on the internet isn't new. The internet is a messy, horrible place in many ways, but the report specifically says Amazon was an outlier. They found significantly more of this material than other comparable tech companies did in their data scrapes.
That's the first major problem. The scale was unusual. But the second problem, and this is the one that has child safety experts absolutely terrified, is Amazon's response to finding it.
So what did they do?
Well, they removed the data before training their models, which is the bare minimum. That's good. But when child safety experts and law enforcement asked the critical question, where did this illegal material come from? Who is hosting it so we can take it down? Amazon couldn't answer.
They didn't know the source of their own training data.
They either didn't know or they wouldn't say. And what this implies is a black box data supply chain. Amazon is ingesting data at such a massive planetary scale, petabytes of web scrapings, third-party data sets they buy from brokers, that they have lost the provenance. They don't know where it all comes from anymore.
This is a legal and ethical nightmare. If you find illegal material on your platform, you have an obligation to report the source so that law enforcement can shut it down and go after the perpetrators. If Amazon is just scrubbing the data from its own servers and then shrugging,
then they are effectively protecting the perpetrators through their silence or their ignorance. It allows those original hosting sites to remain online. And it raises a much deeper question. If you don't know where your training data comes from, do you truly understand your model? What other biases or illegal materials are baked into it that you don't know about?
and let's connect this back to the world models we were just so excited about. Right now, we were just talking about text and images, and we already can't police it properly. But if we are moving to a world where AI is ingesting millions of hours of real-world video from smart glasses, from home security cameras, from police body cams, from Tesla's dashboards,
the policing challenge becomes infinitely harder. If we couldn't keep CSAM out of a relatively simple text and image dataset, how in the world are we going to police a dataset that consists of raw, real-world video footage scraped from the physical environment?
we are building the panopticon, but nobody's checking the tapes.
That is the deep fear here. We are building a system that sees everything, but we don't know what it's actually looking at or where it came from.
And while Amazon is struggling with the data supply chain, YouTube is struggling with the output. They are officially declaring war on brain rot.
I absolutely love that brain rot is now a technical term in a corporate safety report. It feels appropriate.
Define it for us. What exactly is YouTube banning when they say that?
They also call it AI slop. We are all familiar with it. It's low-quality, mass-generated content. You have distorted robotic voices reading nonsensical scripts over stolen gameplay footage or stock videos. It's pure spam.
Stuff that my nephews can watch for hours on end for some reason.
Exactly. Channels like one called Cuentos Fascinantes, which had 6 million subscribers.
6 million subscribers. That's more than most cable news networks.
And according to the report, it was earning nearly $2.7 million a year in ad revenue, and YouTube just nuked it. Gone. They removed 16 of the top 100 AI slop channels in one go.
And the scale of that is incredible. They wiped out 4.7 billion views in a single purge.
That is $10 million in annualized earnings for those channels that just vanished overnight.
It's a game of whack-a-mole, though, isn't it?
It is, but they have to play it. YouTube is using its existing spam detection systems to try and catch this stuff. They have to. If the platform becomes 90% AI slop, the human creators will leave, the advertisers will leave, and the entire ecosystem collapses. They are trying to save the platform from being drowned.
It's such a delicate balance. On one hand, they want to support artist-led AI, like the Aronofsky project we mentioned, but on the other, they have to kill these spam farms that are using the same underlying technology.
And distinguishing between the two algorithmically is getting harder every single day.
One more safety story before we move on. OpenAI. There's a leak that suggests they are building a biometric social network.
This is wild, and it feels like a direct response to the dead internet theory. It's a social network that would require biometric verification to join. You have to scan your face with something like Face ID or use the World Orb iris scanner to get an account.
So a humans-only club.
Essentially, Sam Altman has been complaining for a while now about the dead internet theory, the idea that most of the content and traffic on the internet just bots talking to other bots. He wants to build a space where, the person on the other end is a biological human.
It sounds incredibly dystopian, but at the same time, it's also kind of appealing. In a world of deepfakes and autonomous agents, proven humanity might become a luxury good.
It absolutely does, but it also creates a two-tiered internet. You'll have the verified human internet behind a biometric wall, and then the Wild West where the bots and agents live. It's a strange future to contemplate.
All right, let's hit the lightning round. There's way too much news to go deep on everything, so let's just hit the big headlines.
Let's do it.
Alpha Genome. Google DeepMind again. They are on a roll.
Yeah, they are. This was published in the journal Nature. They are now scanning what used to be called junk DNA, the 98% of our DNA that doesn't code for proteins that we didn't really understand, and they're using AI to predict disease mutations, like for specific types of leukemia.
So if AlphaFold solved proteins, this is trying to map the other 98% of our genetic code.
It's a massive step forward for personalized medicine. Huge implications.
Okay, next up, Anthropic.
Two things here. First, the money. They are raising $20 billion at a staggering $350 billion valuation. The report said the demand for the round was 6 times what they expected, so the money hose is still on full blast.
But they're also in some trouble.
They are. Big trouble. They're being sued by the major music companies for using 20,000 copyrighted songs to train their model Claude. The lawsuit is seeking $3 billion in damages. The copyright wars are just beginning.
And Jared Kaplan, one of their co-founders, made a very bold prediction this week.
He did. He said there is a 50% chance that the top theoretical physicists in the world will be replaced by AI within the next 3 years.
3 years. That is aggressive.
That is extremely aggressive. But it shows you the level of confidence or hubris inside these labs right now.
All right, OpenAI financials.
The numbers are just becoming imaginary at this point. They are reportedly negotiating a $60 billion investment from their main partners, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Amazon. The post-money valuation, $700 billion.
$700 billion for a company that is still technically a nonprofit capped profit hybrid. It's unbelievable.
The numbers have lost all meaning.
Apple, what are they up to?
They made a big acquisition. They bought xAI, which is an Israeli audio startup, for $2 billion. But the real story isn't the tech, it's the talent. The acquisition brings the original founder of Face ID, who had left Apple, back into the fold. This is an acqui-hire.
They're buying back their own brain trust to work on the next generation of biometrics and audio AI.
Exactly.
And finally, the chip wars.
This is a big geopolitical one. China has approved its tech giants, ByteDance, Alibaba, and Tencent, to buy 400,000 of NVIDIA's H200 GPUs.
I thought there was an embargo on high-end chips to China.
There is, but these are likely a slightly modified export-compliant version. Still, the embargo curtain seems to be lifting slightly. That is a lot of high-end compute power going to China, which definitely changes the geopolitical math for the AI race.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We have covered a huge amount of ground today.
Yeah.
What is the synthesis? What's the one big trend?
I think we are seeing a great divergence, a fracturing of the path forward. On one side, you have the strategy of massive brute force scaling. That's Meta spending $135 billion. That's OpenAI being valued at $700 billion. They're trying to solve intelligence with cash and chips.
And on the other side?
On the other side, you have this push toward physical AI. The world models, the contrarian bets like flapping airplanes. It's a group of people saying, that text isn't enough, that scale isn't enough. We need machines that truly understand the physical world to break the current data and reasoning bottleneck.
And here's the thought I really want to leave you with today. We talked about that Amazon report.
Yeah.
About them finding illicit, horrible material in their training data, but not knowing, or at least not saying where it came from.
Right, the problem of provenance.
As we move from text and images to these new world models that are designed to ingest millions of hours of raw, real-world video from our glasses, from our cars, from our home security cameras, do we have any idea what that training data is going to contain?
If text was hard to police, the physical world is going to be infinitely harder. We're building a panopticon to train a god, and we better make sure we know exactly what it's watching.
That is a heavy thought for a Friday. Keep your neural networks open, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Stay human.
That wraps up today's briefing. The signal for today is embodiment. From Tesla's investment in xAI to drive robots, to Google's Genie engine that simulates worlds, and the rise of physical AI, intelligence is leaving the chat window. It is entering browsers, cars, and three-dimensional spaces. The models of 2020X won't just tell you the answer, they will show you the world. This podcast is created and produced by Etienne Newman, senior software engineer and passionate soccer dad from Canada. Please subscribe and share. Until Monday, keep unraveling the future.
And before you go, if your company is building the tools that power the workflows we talked about today, I'd love to showcase them to this audience. We don't just run ads, we build technical simulations that prove your value. Let's build something together. Visit jamgamind.com/partners to get started. Until next time, keep building.